there, welcome. It is the World Mission Update. My name is Rusty Humphreys. That there. He's the CEO of World Mission, and we appreciate you being here. Subscribe. Would you hit the subscribe button right now and the little notification bell so you'll know every single time a brand new World Mission Update with Greg Kelley is out, and you don't want to miss him. And also, not only are you going to learn a lot about a scary thing like Sharia law and how it's affecting Nigeria, but what is World Mission doing to make a difference there, and how can you help? That's all coming up in just a minute. Also, Greg, you'll have another show too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You're out there doing stuff. What's your other show?
It's called the Every Nation Update. So it's a live program we're doing about quarterly, Rusty. That's live, and we're interviewing our national partners. So people get to experience some of the individuals that are doing the work on the field, hearing directly from them, and then we do it in a live setting so that people can really. I think it's just kind of a nice complemental to what you and I are doing here on the World Mission Update.
Yeah, because we edit the heck out of this because I always look bad, so I spend hours doing everything I can to make me look better. That one, it doesn't have me on it, so that makes it easier to go live. So that's pretty much the difference between the two, I think.
Oh, come on, Rusty. You look beautiful, my friend.
You look marvelous, darling. All right, so how can I find that show?
Well, Every Nation Update, you can go to the website at World Mission and look at events. So worldmission.cc, just click on events and it will show you notifications for, we've actually done several now. So we've done a feature on kind of East Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, that region. We've talked about Myanmar. We've talked about Indonesia, and we've done some shows on India.
Nice.
And so there's a lot of really cool information. I think that will encourage people. Just again, a nice complemental way to what you and I do here on the World Mission Update.
And then we are looking at another venture coming up where we've been to Bangladesh. We've done Kenya. Next one coming up is where?
I think you and I are on our way to the Middle East, buddy. Okay. We're going to Egypt. If I can sneak you in the country, I think that's the only question mark there.
Oh, and you're not kidding. They got. I know I'm on a list in Egypt. I'm on a list, so it may be a problem. We'll find out. So that's coming up in a couple of months. You won't want to miss that. That's why you want to hit that notification button. All right. Last week we talked about Nigeria. You want to get back into Nigeria. I think Nigeria, is there really that much to talk about there?
Yeah, Nigeria, of course, we talked about the kidnappings, just the horrors of bandits attacking and taking kids by the hundreds. We learned that over 700 have been kidnapped just since December, and they're being held for ransom. Rusty, it's almost like a business. I mean, it's the things that are coming out of Nigeria are almost too long to list as far as just the evil. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Sharia and Islam, but you're talking about just the lack of basic law and order that is just entirely void throughout Nigeria. So
the lack of respect for life too. Would that be a fair thing to say?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think that anytime you have desperation and poverty to the levels that exist in Nigeria and economic, it's super the haves and the have-nots. There's a lot of wealth in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. You're talking about the most populated African country. So in the entire continent of Africa, it's by a long way. So in Nigeria, there's like 208 million people that live in Nigeria. Do you know what the second most populated country is in Africa?
I do not.
You do not. Take a guess.
Kenya.
Wrong. But you're close.
Okay.
It borders Kenya. Ethiopia.
Oh.
In Ethiopia, there's 100 million fewer people in Ethiopia, Rusty. So
100 million fewer.
Fewer, yeah, 100 million fewer. So you're 206, 207 million versus 110 million roughly in Ethiopia.
Well,
so
and to put in perspective, America has about 330 million.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you're 2/3 the size of America in Nigeria. That makes it strategic. But you've got the oil there. You've got the Islamic and Christianity sort of conflicts going on. But the other thing, and we've spoken a lot about this issue here on the World Mission Update, Rusty, it's that when World Mission does missions, we don't just talk about the country. Because when Jesus gave us the Great Commission and all authority in heaven and earth is given to me, therefore go and make disciples of all nations. That word nations doesn't mean country.
I know what that means. I know.
What
Ask me. People groups.
Yes, correct.
Yay.
Correct. You win the prize, Rusty.
It's only taken me 2 years to learn it, but I'm learning.
So inside of the one country of Nigeria are 538 different people groups.
Whoa.
538. So it's one of the most diverse countries, not just in Africa, but in the whole world. I mean, we're talking about, top 5 in the entire world. It's in the category of India, Indonesia, Irian Jaya. It is in that short list of countries with the most people groups. And so because of that, you've got a lot of dynamics going on. You've got all these different language barriers. I mean, you could drive the equivalent of, Detroit to Chicago and pass through 10 different people groups,
right.
10 different languages, and so that's one of the great differences here in America. We just don't appreciate, so many of the things that we have to our benefit, what make us an amazing country. Well, one of them is that anywhere you go, coast to coast, north, south, east, west, I mean, I can get by on English, right? We're having a growing Latino population, but even there, I can get by on English. While you go to Nigeria, they're going to understand English in a lot of places, but you start going into more rural areas, and you better speak Fulani, you better speak Kanuri, you better speak Hausa, you better speak Igbo. I mean, these are all different languages and people groups, and each one of them has its own very unique culture and dynamic. So for all those reasons, Nigeria is very strategic.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at some of the pictures we have here. We got a couple of kids looking in the camera with some goats behind them.
Yeah. So this I love this because this is from northern Nigeria, and so many of the people groups, and I'll mention 3 in particular. So again, northern Nigeria almost exclusively Muslim, southern Nigeria almost exclusively Christian. The 3 main northern people groups, Muslim people groups, are the Hausa, the Fulani, and the Kanuri. So those are all majority, and we're talking about like 99 percentile Islamic people groups. And so they're pastoralists, which means that they raise animals basically. And so you have cows. In fact, the Fulani, this is an interesting segue, side note for the Fulani. The Fulani think that God, or their God in Islam, has given the Fulani entire ownership of all the cows in the world. So if a Fulani guy,
nice?
Yeah, if a Fulani guy were to come to Oklahoma or to Texas and see a herd of cows, he'd go, Allah has given me those cows. Those cows are mine.
Wow.
So they almost worship them. I tell people all the time, hey, if you got a Fulani guy and he's running his herd of cows and 99 of the 100 are across the street and there's one lingering and a racing truck is coming and the Fulani guy has to make a quick decision. Do I save my cow or my wife? He's going to save his cow. I mean, they're just the value that they place on cows is almost to a worship level. And so it's important when you're ministering in those areas, you understand that culture. That's an important thing to understand. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you're going in there, you don't mess around and, make fun of the cows in a Fulani area, but they are also, in a heavily Muslim area and a group that is aggressive from a jihad almost standpoint of propagating Islam. So those kind of things make it a real challenge in northern Nigeria.
Okay, we've got a group here, and they look like they're having a Bible study or so, or maybe you're giving some treasures out.
They're getting some treasures. They're being raised up. Our motto, as you know, Rusty, we talk a lot about empowering the national leaders. So we're investing in them so that they can do the work of the ministry. Me showing up, I'm not going to be real effective. I don't speak Hausa. I don't speak Fulfulde. I don't speak Kanuri. I don't speak any of these languages. But if we can identify nationals, especially nationals with an understanding of Islam, incredibly effective. I can remember one time, Rusty, when we were in that area, it's not too far away from where this photo was taken. I happened to be there. We were driving, and our guy saw some people underneath a tree. Stop the car, stop the car. So he gets out of the car, goes up to these two gentlemen. They were just on the outskirts of a village that we knew was a Muslim area. And these were two Hausa guys. And he started sharing a treasure with them. They're listening to it. They're intrigued by it. I'm sitting there just praying in that car. Lord, just let these guys' heart be soft so they could hear the gospel and receive it and maybe be the man of peace. That's the reference we would use, who becomes the person who's going to take the gospel into that village. And lo and behold, these guys started playing with the treasure, right? They're listening to the treasure. They're playing with the treasure. And then all of a sudden, as fast as they had smiles on their face and were looking at it, they handed it back to our guy. And that was the end of it. And I am like, what in the world happened? And my guy comes to the car and he goes, those guys are cowards. And I'm like, what just happened? And he said, once they came to the realization that this is the Bible, the Word of God, they looked at our guy and they said, if this thing causes trouble, they'll kill us. Wow. And they handed it back. So it just goes to the point, Rusty, of the area is so hostile to the gospel, which is why using nationals like these brothers and sisters to share the gospel through friendship evangelism is incredibly strategic.
Okay, I'm going to tell a Greg story just for a second because, as he's going, I have the local guys doing all of it. No, Greg does stupid things too. We go to, where's the place we went in Kenya where it was all the scary people?
Oh, that was in Northern Pokot, right?
Northern Pokot. You got guys walking around with guns, and they got real spears, and half of them are drunk, and they do not like the fact that we are there. And what does Greg do? Hey, how y'all doing? Yeah, let me show you this treasure thing. Come on in. Oh, come on in, brother. Come on. Or we're at a border crossing, and there's a bunch of guys. They got guns, and they're pointing them at us because we're about to cross the thing. And Greg's like, "Hey, don't worry about the gun. Hey, I got something for you. Come here, brother." And it's like, you kind of an idiot. I mean, are you a little slow, Greg? Because them aren't play guns. They're real guns, and you just go and do it.
This is powerful, buddy. This is powerful. In those areas, we know that the conflict and the hostilities, there is no man-made solution, and that goes anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. So when you've got those kind of hostilities and you have that conviction and you know that there's nothing humanity has to offer that is going to bring reconciliation, that's going to bring peace into the situation, it's only through the power of the Word of God. And when you have that understanding and that conviction, buddy, I'm not saying it's easy to do those things, but at least I'm going to go down with conviction in my heart, knowing that I have the solution. I have the answer, which is the Word of God. And that's a blast to be a part of that. All
right. Well, it's amazing how he does it. All right. Huts. We got a big row of huts here. What kind of huts do we got here?
We're back. We're back in. Now the interesting thing about the Fulani is that historically they are the first missionaries to Africa. They brought Islam. So we're talking about centuries ago. And the interesting thing about the Fulani is that they were historically very nomadic. And so they're moving, and right now they're in about 12 different African nations. Of course, we know about Nigeria, but then keep going all the way throughout West Africa, all the way to Senegal, and you'll have different variations of the Fulani people. And so now they become semi-nomadic, which means they mainly are staying in an area. But the thing about the Fulani, Rusty, is that, as I said, they have the cows. And so as drought conditions have affected northern Nigeria, the more premium lands for grazing your cattle are more south. And so we've heard about the Fulani herdsmen and the conflict. Now, there's a people group. So again, we're talking Fulani, Hausa, Kanuri. So there's a Christian majority people group that's right in the center part of Nigeria called the Tiv, T-I-V. They're like 98% Christian. And all of these battles we're hearing about Fulani herdsmen and farmers is almost exclusively with the Tiv people group. The Fulani were thwarted back. This is years and years ago by the Tiv. So the people we talk to say that the Fulani want to finish the job because they consider the Tiv a very determined group. And if they can only defeat them, all of Nigeria will fall.
Interesting.
And so you've got these dynamics of people group or nation against nation which we know the only answer, and that's the gospel in there. That's why we go right into the war zones and in these the most contentious areas. That's where we do our treasure distributions.
Wow. Okay. Well, speaking of treasure distributions, we need your help so we can distribute more around the world in some of these places where they have never heard the name Jesus. And you can make a difference with a small donation, or a huge difference with a huge donation, whatever the Lord is calling you to do. Go to worldmission.cc, and check out World Mission. Hit that donate button and give what you can. Greg?
Yeah. So, Rusty, I mean, it's crazy to think that these areas, Fulani, Hausa, Kanuri, most of us will never go there, never meet one of those in our life, but yet we can send one of these guys. Only takes about $40. We've got all those languages. And as I said, there's 530 other people groups in Nigeria. We got to get this guy, especially in the northern part. And you're helping us make it happen. Share the podcast. Hopefully people will be encouraged and learn a little bit more about what's going on, the dynamics of northern Nigeria, the Christian Muslim hostility. But it's because of you that we're doing it. So, man, you are a blessing, and we appreciate you.
Absolutely. We sure do appreciate you. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification button so you don't miss any new shows of the World Mission Update. If you're listening to the podcast, you please subscribe there too. And also, if you see this, any place where you can share it with your friends, anyone who might feel a calling to this. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm Rusty Humphries. He's Greg Kelley, and this is the World Mission Update.